this month is our last section for this year, and I want to say thank you to everyone who's been joining and how impactful this has been helping other people as well too. And so this we're having Miss Dorcas, and she'll be speaking on developing patience in the process of discovering our path. And she'll be sharing her story. She'll be sharing her story with us as well. And so thanks so much once again for joining us. And we're going to be having our live soon. Okay, I'm going to send on the link right now, and then we're going to begin. Right. Okay. So good. Thank you so much for joining. Okay. Let's see. Okay, so she will be sharing with us a story, and yeah, good. Thank you so much for joining us. Thank you so much. Okay. Okay.
Hi. I can't hear you. Can you hear me? I can't hear you. I can't hear you.
Okay, good. How about now? Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you, but you're
Okay.
showing kind of
So
like this.
yeah, like so that it's more like a TV way. Very good. Perfect.
This
Perfect.
way?
Good. Yeah. Yep.
Okay.
That's perfect. Yeah, I like
Okay.
that. Yeah. So I
That's
want to say thank you so much for accepting this. Thank you so much. Really. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me,
And
Michael. It's very
thank
nice. And again,
you
sorry
so
about
so much.
last time, life
And
happened. But thank
it's
you for
fine. It's
having me
fine.
back.
Same here. I'm also grateful. So, without wasting too much of our time, I think we all know. So, some people say, "Oh, Morocco, she's a beautiful woman." So, I think, yeah, a lot of people are ready to see the beautiful woman they've been seeing on the picture. Okay.
We
So,
try. We
thank you
try
so
now.
much.
We try.
Okay. So, very good. The floor is yours now, and the topic is developing patience in the process of finding our path. So, welcome. This is Miss Doka.
Thank you. Well, my name is Dorcas. I am Congolese. I'm based in Orlando, and I'm the founder of Vonga Beauty, which is a makeup brand. We do have every other makeup item you can think of: lip gloss, eyeshadows, anything in the makeup industry that you want to have as far as a product wise, we do have that as well. So, in regards to the topic itself, for me, I feel patience is like faith. You know what I'm saying? If I can start off by saying that, I think patience is like faith, because if you look at the word faith, it teaches us how to be patient for the things that we do not have yet, for the things we want to have, right? And in
Mm,
the same line, I can place patience in there. If you're not patient in life, especially when it comes to achieving your goals, anything you want to do, even relationship wise, in friendships and just romance, the romantic relationship does require a lot of patience. But unfortunately, a lot of us these days, especially in our current generation, the way the world is evolving, we seem to have little of patience. You see someone who have more patience in working for somebody else, being in a company for 5 years, for 3 years, being mistreated, left, right, center, but failing to give that same 5 years of commitment to their own goals. You understand? They're failing to give that same 5 years or 3 years of dedication to their own personal goals. A person will wake up literally at 5 a.m. to be at work on time, which starts 6 or 7 a.m., but will never wake up 5 a.m. to do something that betters their own life. Right. And we do that all the time, even myself. When I'm free on days off that I'm not scheduled to be at work, you'll never find me waking up at 5 a.m., even if I tried. So, and that's just around the thing we have to kind of ask ourselves, why do we do that, right? It's because we see value in our jobs. We see value in our professional careers. But the minute we stop failing to see the value in the things that we do, like running your business, um, any other career aspirations that you have, you lose the patience for it, right? Eventually, you will begin to be less and less motivated to engage towards that passion, hobby, or whatever it is that you want to do. So that's so far, that's what I can say as far as introduction to it.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Okay, so we want to start to briefly talk about like how you started because of when I sent out your profile, a lot of people read about your profile, and then we have a lot of young people that are live right now and that are makeup artists, and then they want to understand how it began with you, how you were able to find your path in the process of having to do different kind of things. How were you sure that this was your path? How did you know okay, this was what you were meant to be doing?
Um, for me, it was pretty easy, I would say, because I always tell someone when it comes to it, especially starting a business, you want to start or launch a business that you're passionate about. Okay,
Mm,
that is one thing that's very important. Don't just go into the entrepreneurship life or lifestyle in the sole aim of making money, because money will
mm,
not just come right away. So for me, at first, as I shared with you, I used to model back. I grew up in Namibia, so I used to model. And of course, as a model, you come across makeup all the time. Anywhere, as far as photo shoots, runway, pageants, you have to apply some makeup for some reason, especially at the time, right? So navigating and switching from modeling to owning a makeup brand was sort of natural for me because one, I already was in love with makeup products. I already loved the fact that it just enhanced my beauty. It did not have to change who I am. It did not have to give me a whole new identity, but it just enhanced what I already have. So because I was passionate about modeling and I was also passionate about, the makeup industry or the beauty industry, it was such an easy transition for me. And that is one thing I always share to any person wanting to embark on entrepreneurship or any career path. Be passionate about what you want to start. If you are not passionate about it, you will fail to stay consistent. You will fail to stay determined. You will fail to have patience because in any industry, it's not just like a blossom of, sunflower that blossoms as soon as the sun hits it or as soon as you water it. Entrepreneurship or any career or hobby or any aspiration you have to constantly water it. And how do we water our careers? How do we water our path of choice? By being consistent, by being patient, by being determined, right? And if you're only there for the sole purpose of money, you may not make money the first year. You may not make money the second year. And that's where I feel like the first 5 years is truly the hardest. And that's where a lot of entrepreneurship give up because they're not seeing the fruits of their labor. They're not harvesting. So if you go solely, and for me, it was having to not just go into the industry with the sole purpose of making money, because just like owning a farm, there's a period for harvest and there's a period for sowing the seed. So the seed, when you're sowing the seed, you don't harvest the next day. You wait for the harvest season, right? And that requires patience. But then when you're waiting for your harvest season, you see a gardener or a farmer constantly going to the farm, right? Making sure the soil is fertilized, making sure that it's watered, there is enough nutrition fertilizers on the soil. So same aspect can be applied on our life and everything we do. While you're waiting for your harvest season, be consistent, be patient, be prayerful, be determined, and just keep doing what you have to do to get there. So for me, it was pretty easy on that.
Wow, thank you so much. Thank you so much. Okay, so the question I need to ask you about one of the points you just made. Now, you're from Africa, like you're from Africa, Namibia, isn't it? Yeah. So in Africa, especially West Africa, we have this mindset about a survivor mindset. So we have a lot of young people going into entrepreneurship, into business to survive. Now, how can you talk to people like this that they're suffering? The nature of the economy, especially in Nigeria and West Africa,
Yeah.
especially, we're suffering. The economy is dying. What kind of mindset should young people develop as much as they're suffering? What kind of mindset should they develop in the process of having to actually go into entrepreneurship? Since the sole aim shouldn't be about making money, but at the same time, they're suffering. So how should they balance it?
I think I have suffered a lot in my life myself, so I can definitely relate in that. And it's all about also, before I say what I want to say something, that a word that resides in my heart so deeply for my entire childhood until adulthood. I remember some time ago, we were in Namibia with my mom, and I wanted something, right? As a young girl going through puberty, I'm growing up, I'm seeing everything that my friends are having. I was raised by a single mother, so my mom did not have the finance to afford those things, right? It makes me emotional. But yeah, so I reached out to her about what I wanted, and she couldn't give me, okay? So she saw how sad I was, how sad that made me, and she sat me down and she said, when we don't have what we want, we love what we have. It wasn't French. Quand on n'a pas ce qu'on aime, on aime ce qu'on a. Those words lived with me and live with me every day of my life. Even as an adult.
Could you repeat that again so that I write it?
When we don't have what we want, we love what we have. So, and she said that, and she did not explain further. That was the first time I ever heard those words, right? She did not explain further. She just left it at that. And I took it, I went to sit down. I was like, what the hell? you know, and it's a very motivating word to have, and I always pass it down to any young person I see, or even adults. Not a lot of people have heard that. I always pass it down because it's very crucial to remember, before you have what you want, you should learn to love what you have. Life is filled with up and downs. You will want something today, and yet you know you can't afford it, right? Because of peer pressure of the friends, because of what's happening economically in the country. You want to be successful. We are all trying different projects to branch ourselves to be successful. But then we also have to remember the harvest season never happens the next day. If you look at Google, you look at all these big, all these big industry companies that we have. Another one of my mom's quotes is, everything big starts small. And those are a few words that she just throws it as she used to throw it out there. You know, we fail to listen to our parents. They might have not acquired a master's degrees, but they are very, very knowledgeable, right? And they do love throwing those proverbs out there. And they think we don't listen to it. They think we don't hear it. So what I would say, having suffered myself and having gone through that, what I would tell any young person is everything is seasonal. Just like we have the winter season, we have the summer season, we have the harvest season, we have the sowing seed season, right? Like we have the market days. Everything in life is seasonal. Nothing is permanent. So if you are harvesting right now, or you see someone harvesting right now, like we see Jeff Bezos or Bill Gates, this is their harvest season. We never truly have footage of their sowing season when they were sowing the seeds. All we have is the picture of Google in a small room that they've shared, but we don't know what went behind the scenes. All we have is Jeff Bezos taking money, his parents' savings to start Amazon, but we never saw what went behind the scenes. How were those goods delivered? Maybe he was riding a bike, suffering, right, under the sun, under the rain, just to deliver these goods. But look at him now. He's one of the richest men in the world. He owns those Amazon warehouses, literally every four corners of the world at this point. This is his harvest season. You have to know which season you are on. No matter how the economy is doing, no matter what the politicians are doing, no matter what's happening in your life, just keep pushing, because if you stop, quitting is so easy. We love to quit, because if you keep on quitting in life, you'll never truly know what it is, how it feels like to not quit. You will not know how it feels like to be at a position where you can look back and smile and thank God for the lessons. You look back and tell yourself, damn, I made it. If we quit, you'll never experience that. Because quitting is so easy. What is so hard is keep going. When you're suffering, you don't have money, but the little you have to invest it back into your business, back into your project. And we, as far as in Africa, our economy in every African country right now is just randomly going upside down, right? So seeing that happening, don't let that be a vague of hurricane in your life. If you try to go through the way the economy is going, you will be a hurricane. You'll be swinging from one direction to the other and flipping around. Stay consistent and be prayerful. Like, there's nothing that's impossible to God. Whatever God you believe in, there is nothing that's impossible to my God. I'm a Christian, so there's nothing impossible to that. I solely believe no matter what's happening, whatever season you have, if you pray with faith, you're going to have what you have. But then faith is patient, so you have to be patient for it.
Wow, wow, wow. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Okay, so Olivia sent me a question, which is, to what I understood the question to be is, she said you're very beautiful, and probably in Africa we have what we call ukop. In Africa,
What is that?
ukop. Yeah. So ukop means, so let's say in Nigeria, so what's considered ukop. So beautiful ladies get to meet with the men,
Yeah.
and then more like paid by barter, and then they have sex and then get money and all that. And so one of the ladies was saying that you're so beautiful. That how about she also being beautiful?
Yeah.
That how they deal with processes where sometimes when they need something and they know a man can give it to them, but then they request of something, how do they get to manage situations like that where they know that they could give it to them and it won't cost them anything and they will get what they want? How do they manage it?
I think it's all about your reputation is priceless. You know what I'm saying? Yes, Reputation is very vague. There's a thin line of reputation that is important to people. Your reputation can solely be what people think about you, because people have perceptions of who we are. And sometimes those perceptions aren't who we truly are. You understand? So, for example, my personal experience in modeling is people always, until now, I guess, people always thought models, they're easy to get. Models, they're easy to sleep with. And especially, I did not grow up in America, of course, but in Africa, every African parent will hate their child to be a model, because they always thought models are easy. You're going to be a prostitute, right? That is sort of the belief back home, that if you're a model, you're soon just going to end up being a prostitute. And that's the difference. That when I look at it that way, I've met men who solely just wanted to hook up, and I told myself, self-value, self-respect. Because what will happen is, today you hook up with this one, right? And then he gets what he wants, you probably get what you want. You elevate in life. And then when you get to a certain level in life, you want another. Every level we get in life, it requires another mentality, requires another step. Every level in life comes with its own difficulties. So what are you going to do in all of those difficulties? Are you going to keep hooking up with people who are already above that level? It's about your self-respect. Because if you are a person in any industry hooking up with anybody, you lose the respect. Because news travel fast, especially gossip. Travels fast. So what I would tell her, any young person, is avoid the hookups. It's very tempting. Of course, as a young girl myself, I'm not going to sit here and say in my time I was a perfect person. No, I was not perfect. But I'll say this. One thing I avoided is I did not just hook up with anybody. And even if I hooked up with someone, it was not a hookup, it was like a distant relationship where we solely and interesting and willingly wanted to be with each other. There was no material or financial benefits in there. And that's very crucial, especially these days, where it seems like a lot of older men want younger women because they think it's easy to get them. The world is crumbling. The economy is bad. We are in Africa. Everybody's suffering. You should give me this if you want to have this. But remember, you give him or you give her that today, what is left of you tomorrow? I love walking into a room and I have my head up high, because I know there is no one who will say I had to sleep with him to get what I have. There's pride in that. And I think people need to, any young girl especially, know that your self-respect is above anything a man can give you. Because a man who only knows you're only beneficial to him because of your body or what you give him will never respect you on a degree, knowing that you're beneficial to him because of your mental capacities, because of your intelligence, because of your education. There's a two difference. If a man knows he can benefit from you mentally because of your knowledge, he will respect you more than he will respect you simply because you're giving him sexual pleasures or physical attraction or physical needs. Right? So it's all about self-respect. Self-respect is so vague these days, but it's very crucial to have. Just respect yourself and know that it's a good thing walking into a room and all eyes on you, but for the good reasons, not for the bad reasons.
Wow. 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 Thank you so much for that. Really, thank you so much for that. And the next question is, I, I believe that you're Christian, mostly Christian, and a lot of people who are watching this are also Christian. As much as this is uh, more for both the Christian, the Muslim, but I believe that the role of God is very important. So we cannot remove that. What would you say about your faith in God? How has it influenced your journey of success?
My faith in God is very lukewarm. I'll be frankly honest. I grew up in a fully, Christian home. My mom prays a lot. I feel like my mom's prayers go straight up in heaven. They don't stop anywhere. But I do know that there is no situation I've ever been in that God have never taken me out of. So that alone, me knowing that, and I say that so with my full chest, so proudly, there is no situation that God have never taken me out of. I could be going through the depths, the worst thing of my life. Like, for example, last year, 2021 was the worst year for me. I was in deep depression. No one even knew, because of course, social media, we hide it so
Yeah.
perfectly on social media. We come here, we're smiling, we look good. Nobody can ever guess that, you're going through a mental breakdown, you're suffering, or you're going through a depression. But I was last year. And one of the things that kept me going was just prayers. I didn't even tell my parents about it, right? And because I already knew what would be the answer. My mom would tell me, pray about it. So I did what I thought she would tell me. I just prayed about it. Having faith in my faith, in God, it comes from the rap sheet of things that the Lord have done for me. You understand? So
Mm,
I feel like a lot of people struggle with faith or having faith in God or in their faith because they don't have a rap sheet experience. They don't really go backwards and look
mm,
at the situations that God have taken them out of. If you constantly go back, that's why it's important to know where you come from so you know where you're going.
mm,
So
mm,
if you want to excel, if you want to improve, if you want to advance in your faith, keep revising the things that God have taken you out of. Keep going back to situations that you thought were impossible to get past. And just look at yourself how you are so far away from it now. It could not be only you. It could not only be your uncles, your mom, or your parents, or whoever. It was God, right? So at the end of the day, if God, of course, not like the times in the Bible, he cannot come down from heaven in front of us. He
mm.
uses people around us to strengthen us, to encourage us, to strengthen our faith, and uses situations to bring us close to him, right? So I look at the past situations in my life that I firstly thought I could never get off of. I look at this times when I was depressed, when I failed to have patience of faith, times when I compared myself to others.
Mm.
And I look at how he made me believe that it was enough because of the things that, he put me through, the things that he allowed me to experience to teach me that I am very much capable and I'm very much enough and I'm deserving of everything that I want. So how to strengthen your faith for me was just praying and as never being afraid for God's levels of temptations, allowing him to use me in his best way as possible, but at the same time revising past experiences that God have taken me out of to give me that strength, knowing that whatever situation I'm going through right now, he can still move me out of it. There's no situation that's permanent. That's just for me. Every situation is seasonal. I could be broke. I could be suffering. I could be sick. Actually, I hate medicine. So I could be sick as hell. I know there is somebody in the Bible who was blind, and as soon as they cried out to the Lord, they regained their sight. There is someone in the Bible who was bleeding for 12 years straight. As soon as they cried out to the Lord, the blood stopped flowing. So there's a lot of testimonies that we can also go back into the Bible with, or to, and gain our faith and strengthen our faith. But the best experience is the ones that happens in our own life. Because anybody can argue the Bible was written by mankind like you and I. But experiences that you go through was not written. You experienced it yourself. It's not a script. So revise your own experience, your own past, and see situations that God took you out of, and know that if He took you out of those, He can take you out of anything. Yeah, that's how I
Wow.
strengthen my faith.
Wow. Wow. Thank you so much for that. Thank you so much, Professor, for that. Thank you so, so much. Okay, I think we have about two more questions
Sure,
and then we'll go. Good. So
I'm here all day.
the other question is, this. I read your profile and then I saw how you understood phases in your life, you understood stages in your life, and what are some of the values and the principles that you held in high esteem, things that kept you going, the mindsets you were developing through those processes, how you're able to actually overcome, like, probably let's say values that you held that okay, maybe this you were not going to compromise for this you're not going to be passing for this, that helped you to at least stand still and build your company to where it is today.
Some of my values is mostly has to do personal values translates into our careers and
Mm,
life choices.
mm,
My personal value is I'm enough. I have two, of course, right? I know I'm enough. I'm not very much capable. I know what Oprah did, I can do it. I know what anybody else
mm,
is in the world is achieving, I can achieve it. But I also know we are in a different time frame. Not just time zone
mm,
as you're in Nigeria, I'm here. No, time frame in life, right? We can
mm,
start business together. You start your own business, I start my own business. We all started on January 1st. But our harvesting season comes differently, comes in different time. That is the time zone. I humble myself by so much of the life experiences and of course the conversations I've had with my mom. In especially the important one is the one I shared earlier. When you don't have what you want, you love what you have. That's like it lives in my head every time I find myself comparing myself to somebody. Every time, because of social media especially, you can never not go through a day where you feel less of, right? Like I will sit here and tell you I don't go through that. That's a lie. Because there's always a time, right? There's always a time when I can look at someone on social media and be like, damn, why not me? The minute you ask yourself, why not me, you're depriving yourself from experiencing and enjoying what you have. It's greediness. Like, it's solely translating to greediness, because what you have today, somebody else don't have. So those are self values of being content with what I have, what I search for bigger things, being happy with what I have right now. Because if you don't appreciate what you have right now, you are greedy, right? You're selfish, and God don't like greediness. God don't like selfishness. He does not bless the greedy. He will humble you before he blesses you back. So I try not to be in a position where God sees that he needs to humble me for me to acknowledge, and be happy of what I have. So my values in life is just carry on with my self-respect, carry on with my faith, and carry on with my patience. Because if you're not patient, you will strive to have what everybody else is having, or at least what everybody seems to be having on social media. And sometimes they have it easy, but you never know what they truly have, right? Especially for me, I'll say, any young person who came across the story of Porta Party, the Dubai thing that was going on, Porta Party, that was very eye-opening, because we see all of some of this Instagram models or influencers going to Dubai back and forth, and every young girl want to go to Dubai. Every young girl want to have every Birkin bag. Every young girl want to do this, want to look flashy. Do you know how they acquire those things? You don't know. Do you know what they have to do to be able to afford that lifestyle? You don't know. So before you envy, you admire somebody, right? Try to admire your own life. Try to have that self-respect, because I'd rather be poor, but I know that people respect me when my face is shown. I'd rather be poor and have nothing in life to show off for, but I know not everybody can just lift up their finger and point at me anyhow. There's self-respect it's just a precious jewel. It's so expensive that a lot of people they just losing it like water. You're not supposed to, if you don't have self-respect, you lack self-discipline. If you lack self-discipline, you are literally nothing. You could be the most beautiful girl, you could be the most handsome man, you could be the most hardworking person. If you don't have self-discipline, if you don't have a moment of reflection where you stop yourself from doing things, from admiring things that could never even happen at this present time for you, and you find yourself trying to admire a lifestyle that you don't even have a full 30 minutes off, what are you doing? We never show our bad side on social media. We never show our bad sides outside the world. We always show the best side. No one comes here showing their bad side. I'm suffering today. Nobody. At least not those influencers that we all look up to, right? And my mom and my brothers, they always tell me there's a thin line between admiration and enviness. So the more you start admiring people, that you have to be very careful to not cross over to enviness. Because we start admiring people. We admire what this person have. We admire the lifestyle. We find them inspirational. The minute you cross to enviness, that's when you start questioning yourself. Why not me? Why her not me? Why me not her? Why am I going through this situation? But you don't know. You'll be so surprised if you sit Oprah down. And I always go back and listen to Oprah's old interviews, because I think that was the time we had really of her speaking. And if you listen to this woman, how she started, right? A person who never got a chance to watch those old interviews of Oprah, all those mini documentaries of her, and just looking at her aspect of right now, you will admire what she has right now. But what she should actually admire is what she was doing back then to get to where she is right now. Because those are the true character of a person that shows you where they are, how they got here. Don't admire the beauty you see online. Don't admire the roses that seems to blossom in someone's life. Admire their struggles, because their struggles will teach you how to persevere in your own struggles. Their struggle will teach you why it's so important to be the most important and the most respected woman or man when you walk into a room. You don't need money to be the most respected. You don't need to have material positions for people to respect you. It's all about how you carry yourself. A lot of women, especially the beautiful girls, we tend to lose ourselves thinking, oh, I'm so pretty, I can have whoever, or I can have whatever. No, you cannot if you don't have self-respect. You cannot if you don't have self-discipline. You cannot if you look down on people. You cannot if you're sort of disrespectful to anybody. So it's a thin line of realizing that don't just admire the rose petals that you see someone walking on. Admire the thorns, the stones, the building blocks they went through that kept them going. Because a lot of us, we're building ourselves, and the minute someone throws a stone of hatred towards us, the minute someone looks down on us, the minute someone talks bad on us, we are quick to lash out and prove them wrong, right? We're quick to lash out and say, do you even know my family? Do you know where I come from? Do you know what I have? You don't need to do that. You just need to chill back and let your success aura, like the perfume smell, express that for you. Let your self-respect express that for you. Let your discipline teach them. Let them smell it like you wear the most expensive perfume. You walk in the room, you don't scream, oh, I'm wearing Gucci, I'm wearing Versace. No, you just let the smell speak, right? So that's how I say, just let it speak. Respect yourself. That respect will speak louder for you. I can hear
Wow.
you.
Wow. Thank you so much. Wow. I don't know. This was really deep, really, really deep,
Oh,
really, really deep. And
cool.
then I really hope that I'm able to cut this just this short period and then really post that after this section. Wow. Thank you so much. It's about self-respect and self-discipline. Thank
Yeah.
you so much. So I think we have a last question.
I think we
Okay,
have
let me see. Is it the
two
last
more.
question
You
for the?
said three back
Yeah,
then.
yeah,
So there's two.
exactly. Yeah. So um, you know, while I was listening to you, and then I don't know, I felt like, what would you tell people, young people today, about courage, about having to face the norms that makes them want to subdue themselves under the norms. So I spoke to a lady yesterday, was it
Mm-hmm.
yesterday, and she said, Miracle, I always struggle. I struggle having to like stand on my own. So when I see people doing things because I don't want to feel inferior, I tend to actually want to join people in doing it. So how what would you tell young people that are struggling, especially ladies actually,
Yeah.
easily fall for those things? So how would you talk to young people, especially ladies, how to actually stand the ground and develop courage in the face of, you know,
Adversity.
yeah.
For me, it's courage is very hard to do. I think we dismiss just how hard it is to be courageous. It's really hard. You know, people we say so much like, "Oh, courage, you have enough. Just be courageous. You're gonna achieve it." It's really hard to do. Like I've been in situations where I did not find courage. Where was courage? Where would I find it? You know, and but then I had to do a soul search. Like it's determining within yourself you are enough. You know, the peer pressure of life translates outside, translates in the household, translates on social media, translates in any path of life. But to lose your focus is losing your courage. If you lose focus, if you want to be a follower, you will never have the audacity, which is the courage, for you to step out of behind somebody's shadows, behind somebody's lineage, and just do your own thing. If you want to step on or step out on your own, and you don't see how you can begin with, you need to know your why. It's very important to know your why. Even when I started my business, you know, it's not the way it is right now, but knowing my why, it's like a mantra. My why keeps me going. Why do you want to step out on your own? Why do you want to start this career path? Why do you want to create content? Are you just doing it because everybody else is doing it? Are you just starting a business or a company because everybody else seems to be successful? Why do you like know your why? When you know your why, that is the courage. That why will build the courage within you.
Mm,
Because even when you feel trembled, even when you are falling down, even when the walls are breaking, if you go back to your why, and your why needs to be as loud as your motivation, as loud as your hunger. Your why, like I have my why pasted in my room. Every morning when I wake
mm,
up, I have my personal whys. I have my, you know, business whys. Why I started my business. Why I want to be successful, right? Every day you need to watch it. You need to look at it. You need to read
mm,
it. Because right, our brain, the way we can command our brain, the more you see something, the deeper it registers in your
mm,
brain. The more
mm,
you read something, the deeper it goes in your brain. That's why, like when you're learning a language, if you don't speak that language fluently, you forget it. Even if you grew up speaking
Mm.
that language, over time, if you don't speak it, you don't write it, you don't read it, it goes away. So that's the same thing with courage. If you know your why, every day you are rehearsing your why in life, why you're starting something, why you're doing something, why you want to do something, the deeper it registered in your brain. It's like a refresh of data. If you know your why, it will help you stay encouraged, because struggles are going to come. There's no way in life you're going to go through life without struggling, without being tempted, without feeling like a failure, without feeling like you're not enough. If anybody tells you they've gone through that, they've lied. It happens in anyone, to everybody, the best of us, our parents,
Mm.
grandparents, anybody, millionaires, doctors, nurse, anybody experiences
Mm.
discouragement. Anybody experiences a low self-esteem moment. If you know your why, you can accomplish anything, because that is the key ingredient, the meaning, the last salt, pinch of salt that we throw in the pot when we're cooking, just to make sure it tastes good. When you're discouraged, revisit your why. Why did I
Wow.
start this? I've had moments where I had no sale and I was so discouraged, but I revisited my why. Sometimes you want to sow seeds that you may not harvest and your kids will harvest in the future. You want to start something
Mm.
that you may not even live long enough to experience, to live or enjoy it, but you are creating a better future for your kids so they don't have to start from zero like you started. So
Mm.
that's one of my whys, because I know that there's nothing in the world that will make me stop what I'm doing, especially with my business. There's absolutely nothing, because I know, God forbid, if something happens to me today, I have things in place that will allow my children, the ones, I don't have any kids yet, but that will allow my children to not have to start from zero, right? And we can
Mm.
learn that from the white folks. White folks are so good on passing generational wealth because they know
Yeah.
their wife, because they stay consistent, they stay encouraged. But that does not mean they never discouraged. They know how to be discouraged, right? But they always find encouragement. Knowing your why is the biggest way to keep yourself encouraged, determined, and everything else.
Wow. No, this is very powerful. This section is really, really powerful. Thank you so much, really.
Okay.
And I think we've come to the last question now, and which we ask every speaker before we let them go,
Mm-hmm.
is you've had experience so much, you've related with people, you've had businesses, you've had relationships with different people. What's one word or something that you want young people to know, like something that is burning in your heart that you want people to actually know?
You know, I turned 30 this year, so I don't even
Oh,
know
wow.
how. Thank you. I don't know how to, you know, to be 30. You
Yeah.
understand? So
Wow.
that's how I want to start it. I don't know how to be 30. I don't know what I should do to behave or look like a 30-year-old. So what I want to tell young people is enjoy the time pace of your life.
Mm.
Don't try to be 30 when you're only 25.
Mm.
Don't try to be 25 when you're only 20. You are rushing in life and you're losing experiences that are vital for that specific time in your life, for that specific age group in your life. A lot of us, we tend to
Mm.
try to grow past our age, and we miss out the experiences that is required of us to get to 26, to get to 19, to get to 30, to get to whatever age.
Mm.
Meaning, that's why when you live on the second floor story of a house, you don't just come from level one and jump to the there's stairs you have to take. If you look at your
Mm.
age from the time you were born to now, every age you have lived represent the stairs of life. If you try
Mm.
to go to the second step, if you're 20, you want to jump to 22, you're missing the stage of 21 and whatever lesson 21 has for you. So a lot of us these days, with social media and the world advancing so rapidly, a lot of young people are getting consumed into feeling a failure while they have not even acquired experiences the successful people have.
Mm.
You'll see a person who is 40 years old. You'll see another person who's 30, 28, 25. There are very successful people who are 25. And then there's people who are also 25 who are not as successful. But then you look at your mate, right? We're the same age. Why is this person more successful than I am? You don't know the experiences
Mm.
they acquired in their 25 years of living that endured and made them successful. Your experience is so different from anybody else. You just have to embrace yours and understand that God looks at everybody else in the clock. That's how I see it. And that's
Mm.
what actually keeps me calm. I feel like God sits down and have a huge old clock in front of him, and we are all around. Our names are written around the clock. When it's
Mm.
12 o'clock,
Mm.
it's time for Michael.
Yeah.
When it's 3 p.m., it's time for Daisy, or it's time for Dorcas. When it's 4 p.m., it's time for Chuck. When it's 3 p.m., you know, we are all in a time frame. That's why we can all be at the same age and experience the different blessings. We can all be in the same age and experiencing different outbreaks and, you know, discomfort and different discouragement and feeling less of. There are women who are 30 years old and I'm extremely more successful than I am, but I'm not envious of them. I don't even admire them. And I said this so vividly loud. I don't admire anybody who is in my age and have so much more than me. You know why? Because the more you admire people outside, the less you start admiring yourself. I admire myself before I admire somebody else. Again, the more you admire outsiders, the less you admire yourself. And I say that so proudly because I have to admire my own struggles for me to appreciate my blessings when it comes. If I keep admiring somebody's blessings, we don't know their struggle because nobody shows their struggles. You are losing touch of your moment, of what you are experiencing right now. So I balance it that way. I'll tell young people is admire yourself before you admire somebody else. Don't come on my social media and admire me. You don't know the demons. For real, you don't know the demons I'm fighting through. You know, you don't know the demons that I'm fighting here. You know, every day, looking myself in the mirror, crying myself because maybe I did not have no cell. I did not have nobody check up on me. You don't know that, but I come here and I'm smiling and I look pretty and I have all this makeup on and I have this filter on. You're admiring that. It's a mask. It's a mask. I start opening magazines and admiring people. If I don't see myself, if I don't see my product in the magazine, I don't admire. I admire myself because I used to admire anybody that was on Vogue until my business made it to Vogue, and then I knew how powerful it was. You understand? So because I opened that page, that magazine, and I saw vulnerability in Vogue, and I admired that because I knew my struggle. But that's also the flip side of admiring other people who are successful. It keeps us motivated because you see someone who is your age mate being successful, you'll be motivated to be successful as well. But don't cross over where you start doubting yourself. You start depreciating what you have because you're so focused on being successful that you are escaping the moments you're going through right now. Every moment in life is so precious. That's why I say I'm 30 years old this year. I turned 30. I don't even know how to behave 30, but I'm enjoying every day. For real, I'm enjoying the process, the journey of being this 30-year-old woman in the world that I don't have a map, a script of this is what you should do when you're 30. This is how you should be when you're 30. Maybe when I'm 31, when I look back, I'll be like, yeah, I was. But one thing I know for sure, I'm definitely not the 25-year-old that I was. I'm not the 20-year-old that I was. I would not want to go back to be 20. I don't want to go back to be 21 because the lessons I've learned was good for 20, was good for 21, was good for my 20s. Now I want to grow into a woman that I'm supposed to blossom into as 30s, in my 30s, and moving forward. I embraced my 20s. I literally told my mom that I didn't want no kids, no marriage in my 20s. I embraced my 20s was for me. I lived it out to the fullest, you're saying. So I have no regrets. For me to be, you know, some people are like, oh, I wish I was younger. I don't wish I was younger. I enjoyed my younger days. So what I tell young people, enjoy your younger days so you don't get old wishing you were younger. No.
Wow.
There's a blessing in every. Just enjoy your time.
Wow, let me just give a clap. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I'm really grateful, honestly. And I'm so happy that we had you. But I know a lot of people want the section. A lot of people are looking out for it. A lot of people are watching out for it. And I'm really sure that after we ended this, other people will have watched this.
Well, I'm so happy.
Wow, thank you
thank you so much for having me. And again, guys, sorry about last time. That happens. But I'm glad we could do it today and, you know, just be open. I'm always, again, a text, a call away if you want me here again. I'm always, thank you so much for having me.
I'm certainly going to have you again. I'm certainly going to have you again. Thank you so much. I'm really grateful. And then I want everyone to say thank you to Miss Dorcas. I want to say, just let's put out, before we let her go, let them say thank you. Let me say thank you on the comment section. Yeah, good, very good. So I'm saying thank you before we'll let you go. Thank you so much, Mr. Doka. Thank you so much. I'm really grateful.
Thank you so
Really,
much
really grateful.
for having me, Mike, and keep doing this. Keep bringing people around each other. That's a good thing about social media. It allows us to connect with people in all the four corners of the world, right? And share our experiences and share our knowledge and just make us realize we're not better than anybody, right? And it doesn't matter if you're in Africa, you're in Asia, you're in America, you're in Europe, wherever you are, you're not better than anybody. You're not better. Those of us who are outside the continent, we're not better than people who are back home. Because when you start thinking you're better than somebody else, God will humble you to
Yeah.
make you realize that you're
Yeah.
right. And I always tell my family or anybody back home is I don't envy people who are in America. Well, like, we deal with snow. You guys don't even have to deal with snow. We deal with shit here that you guys don't have to deal with. So there's advantage and disadvantages in anything, right? So we just need to appreciate our time. It's very important. That's my last word. Let's appreciate the moments in our life we are going through right now. There is a season for everything. So thank you for
Wow.
having me.
Wow. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. And we're gonna have you again. Probably next year. Yeah, very soon. We hope to.
Oh yeah, next
Thank you
year.
so much.
So happy New
Thank you so much.
Year's. If you celebrate
Same
Christmas,
to
Merry
you.
Christmas to everyone.
Okay. Bye bye. Thank you so
Bye.
much.
Thank you.
Bye.